For something to be delicious, it does not mean it needs to be hard. And this recipe is a real testament to that saying. I'm gonna make a smoked and pineapple ham salad, and it's so easy that you're definitely going to add it to your Christmas repertoire. I just know it. Now, if you think this is too much work, you can make it even simpler and use a store-bought mayo, a good quality store-bought mayo, but I'm going to show you how to do it from scratch because I think making your own mayo adds a little extra oomph because there are a few ingredients in this, and this is one where you really have control. So let's get started. So I'm going to start off by using 5 egg yolks to make this mayo, and I have my own way of separating my yolks, so I'll show you what I do. And this is probably going to yield a lot more mayo than I actually need for this recipe, but that's fine because I like making a little extra and keeping it handy in the fridge. So you can adjust your quantities accordingly if you want less or more. It's very easy to adjust. And these are all medium-sized eggs. So I just like using my hands and putting all the eggs together at once and very gently breaking it into a bowl like this creates a lot of insulation for your yolks, and the chances of them cracking are a lot less than trying to do each one individually. And yeah, I'm leaving the whites in the bowl, which you can use for a meringue or a pavlova or just an egg white omelette. Don't throw it out. There's plenty of use for it. You can use it to clarify your soups. I mean, the uses are endless. So hold on to those. And they refrigerate quite well. You can keep it up to a day. Yolks not so much. So maybe you wouldn't want to try that with your egg yolks. And as we go along, we can start putting more and more oil and be a little more liberal because the emulsion is quite stable after a certain point. And I want this quite thick because I'm going to thin it out with some lemon juice, which is acid for this, and some mustard and things that will thin this out. So we want it a bit on the thick side. We're going to start off first by sweetening this, and we're going to put a good amount of sugar, a little more than you might think, and of course, like I promised, lemon juice. Now we're just eyeballing this, and we're going to modify this along the way, and we're going to start with a little salt as well, and garlic, and that I'm just going to go all in. So this is technically an aioli, which is a garlic mayonnaise, but not just any aioli, lots of trimmings. And of course, the lemon zest. We want this to be extremely lemony. And this adds that beautiful citrus flavor without the sourness. And don't skimp on this, get a good quality mustard. I tend to lean towards the imported ones because they are better than the local mustard, I'm sorry to say, but there are some good quality local ones as well. So if these are too expensive, the fancy foreign ones, a good local mustard will suffice. Oh, and speaking of fancy schmancy, for all your fancy schmancy local or imported needs, go directly to Cargill's online, right here. Oh yeah, so that just nailed it. You need enough acid. You want a little bit of tang at the back of your mouth. Oh, it makes your mouth water, amazing. And the heat from the mustard, perfect, because you need a little bit of kick. The garlic kind of plays a supporting role there, and it's also adding a little bit of raw, visceral heat. Perfect, this is exactly where I want it to be. Just adjust it to your palate though. This is your baby. So, this is the hardest part of the recipe, already wrapped up. Now it's just a bunch of chopping and our recipe is done. And here we have one of my favorite fruits of all time, a pineapple. And this is super ripe and so juicy and sweet. And it's also gonna be the container that we're going to use to serve our salad, just for a little pizzazz. And let's see how to go about doing that. First thing is we have split it down the middle with the leaf included, so don't break it off. Okay, so find a good angle and cut it evenly. Now this looks more presentable than the one that had the accident, so we're going to keep this in the fridge to have later, and we're going to save this whole thing. So the easiest way would be to first cut around it. And maybe make some squares. Right, then we're going to use a spoon, kind of pretend it's an avocado, and scoop these out. So we're going to keep this aside, and we're going to pick up the chunky solid cubes, not so much the pulp, because that might make your salad just a little too mushy, and slice them thinly as possible. And then we're going to cut them into very, very tiny squares, because you want the sweetness to pop through, but you don't want it to overwhelm your palate. Right, so this should be more than enough for our current recipe. This is about half a cup's worth of finely diced pineapple. So we can just leave it on the board, and we're going to go straight into our ham. I have 500 grams of amazing smoked ham from Chudidua Farms, which again was ordered through Kagis Online. You guessed it. And it smells, oh my God, I just love anything smoked. I think it just takes every sense in your body to the next level. Just not just your sense of taste, your smell, and it just creates a moment. I mean, that intensity of flavor is just on another level. So 500 grams for half a cup of, I know I'm just kind of doing volume and weight, but let's see if I can figure out how many cups of ham this might be. All right, so usually this will be the, well, tail end of it. I'll be using my pineapple and my ham, and I'll be calling it a day. But you know, it's almost Christmas. I think we should get just a little bit fancier. And I was able to find some amazing dill, which is garden fresh. Really, thank you, Kagis Online. Where would I be without you? So we're gonna use a handful of dill, kind of like you would in a potato salad. It's a bright herbaceous note. Yeah, and just a little bit, like a tablespoon's worth. And let's go crazy. We have some celery as well, and about half a cup, but I think this is just a little too big for my liking, and I chopped it up before, but I'm gonna maybe chop it just a little bit more finely to match the dice on the other ingredients. And I think all the colors look so bright and so happy. I mean, this is perfect salad, and you know, this is such a kid-friendly salad. Like any child would just immediately love this. So one last step till this is done. We're going with our pineapple, our ham, a couple of swipes, our dill, and our celery. We're gonna put a couple of big dollops of this mayonnaise. Put just a little to start, and then we'll work our way up. We don't want to drown this in mayo, just enough to kind of hold it all together and make it creamy and beautiful. Yeah, that's plenty. So we do have a ton of mayonnaise left, which is not a problem, trust me. So let's have a taste. Dude, that, oh my God, if I could marry a salad, this would be it. It is so good, and it's so simple. And if you thought, you know, the whole making the mayo thing was too complex for you, don't worry about it. Just go ahead, get yourself store-bought mayo, make this, do yourself a favor. That smoked ham from the Chutidua Farms was mind-blowingly good. Trust me on it, you have to make this. And leave a comment if you do. Would love to hear back from you. We'll catch you again soon.